Welcome back to another edition of Zero Black 30. Today we have 0 rounds in the magazine, but we're going to talk with the guys from ZeroEyes, who designed a system that is supposed to stop mass shootings or help stop mass shootings before they occur. How are they going to do that? By identifying guns.
Hold on. You got to listen to the pod to find
Yeah,
out.
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But how do they do it is incredibly fascinating.
Yes.
They're going to walk us through the entire thing. And for our listed people, usually it's typically an officer that has this kind of idea. Not really the idea, but the funding behind it and the connections to get the funding. These guys, everybody that's involved in a leadership position, all enlisted, all Navy SEALs.
Wow.
That
Suck
were,
it, cons.
they are
Wow,
from-
good for
Yeah.
you guys. NCO's doing something for
Uh-huh.
yourselves.
Yeah,
Making
well,
something of yourselves.
Yeah, and you guys not taking all the credit for it. It's nice that they actually are the CEO, CRO, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to hop into that interview straight away because it's really incredibly interesting. Here we go. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at WhistlePig. WhistlePig has the best bourbon or rye in the business. It's been my favorite for a long time, not just since they've been the presenting partner of the show, but probably dating back to like 2013. I didn't used to like whiskey at all. I hated it, in fact. But the first time somebody made me a rye and Coke, I would never drink that now, but the first time somebody made me a rye and Coke with WhistlePig as the rye, I loved it. So I went out and bought a new bottle, and it was just this straight up regular WhistlePig. It was delicious, but the price was a little bit too high for me to drink all the time. I think it was like $35. At that time, I could not afford it. Now they have the Piggyback, which is the more affordable version of the bourbon or the rye that you can go just by going to whistlepig.com or going to a local retailer in your area. You're going to find 100% the good stuff. It's 100% rye or 100 proof bourbon. It's going to wet your whistle and you're going to love it, and you're going to feel like a pig who wants to wallow around that whiskey all damn day, all damn night. It's delicious. Go get you something. While you have things in your cart, add that maple syrup. You deserve it, you son of a bitch. Now on Zero Black 30, we're privileged to have Mike and Sam from ZeroEyes. You're going to hear a lot about what that is. But before we start, Mike, I was going through the bios to make sure that I knew who you guys were, some of the things you guys did. And your bio says, before founding ZeroEyes, Mike served as the digital director, and then it's got all kinds of things like you would see on Wikipedia or LinkedIn. And then the last line is Mike also spent 10 years in the United States Navy and served as a Navy SEAL.
That might stop me. He was like, I can't believe this is the first time I haven't seen it listed first somewhere.
Yeah,
wow.
I was like,
Good for
SEAL
him,
listed
putting it
last. Like, that's some humility there.
Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough now that like we have ZeroEyes. There's a lot of got a lot of media attention and stuff from it, but you always kind of try to keep that part in the shadows, kind of. It was hard, especially when you're getting out of the military. Then it's like people are like, no, you got to tell people you were a SEAL, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I was in the Navy.
And
And I feel
pigeonhole
like the
you
way you guys are
sometimes.
doing it is a little more, to me, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's mysterious. What a mysterious person.
Well, let's jump into it. What is ZeroEyes?
Yeah. You want me to do it?
Yep.
So we use computer vision models, artificial intelligence
Okay.
over existing security cameras to detect guns. When a gun is detected, we send an alert out to first responders. So now people know what the shooter looks like, what type of weapon they have, and we geolocate them on a map. So when people are responding or they're trying to move people away from the threat to is like 5'10", white male, appears to be an assault rifle, northeast corner of the main building, because we're really focused on decreasing their response time, save lives. And they could do that with better actionable intelligence, because when police are responding to an active shooter, mass shooting threat, all they're getting is a bunch of frantic 911 calls.
Right.
And it's like mass confusion. So
From
And so-
non-tactical thinkers, too.
correct.
And it detects like actual gunshots itself. Like New York City has those shot things where it can like detect where the sounds are, but it actually detects like the visual of a gun or a rifle.
Yeah, so we object detection. So we don't do acoustic. We detect the actual gun itself.
Okay.
So like Mike was saying, we take like the 30-year-old technology security cameras that are used forensically after the fact.
Yeah.
After somebody's shot, after something's stolen, after something bad happens, we're making it proactive.
Yep.
We plug the software into that. We don't even sell cameras. We just sell the software. And then once the gun is exposed, an alert would be sent from that location to our in-house monitoring center at staff by former military veterans, law enforcement, and then that gets dispatched to first responders and to the client. That way they never get a false positive either.
Okay. How did this, for you, you were in the military, you get out. Did you know each other in the military?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just kept in touch after. What inspired you to create this software?
So we got out at the same time out of SEAL Team 4 2013, and neither one of us knew what we wanted to be when we grow up. So we were like, applied to business school, and we got into good business schools. I mean, we were pretty excited, and I went there. It was like, I didn't even know what half the jobs were they were talking about at business school.
Yeah.
And so I was jumping all over the place, and I kept gravitating back towards like tech startups, et cetera. But fast forward a couple years, I met some folks that were doing computer vision technology stuff, like facial recognition.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in 2018, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed since Columbine happened, but there's like school shooting on the news every week.
Right.
And I have 4 kids. My oldest was in middle school at the time in 2018. Parkland school shooting happened in February. My daughter's school started doing lockdown active shooter drills, and she came home like, I was like, oh, how was school? She was like, we had to do this thing, and she got all upset about it. And I was like, this is fucking nuts.
And infuriating as a dad that your kids have to go through that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, something needs to be done. And I was like, I would get with Sam and the other co-founders, and we would just like kick ideas around over beers, coffee, whatever, of different things. We didn't want to be security consultants. And then I was sitting in my daughter's school, and it was an indoor sports practice, and I was just sitting there waiting for it to be over. I was looking around. There was a security camera like every 15 feet, 20 feet in her school. I was like, did some backwards math real quick, and I was like, there has to be like 200 cameras in this building. I asked the security guard, I was like, who's looking at the cameras? He laughed. He was like, no one's looking at them. We only use them after something happened, like a fight breaks out, someone broke in, etc. And I was like, wait, if people could do facial recognition technology over cameras, why can't we detect guns? Like, everyone wants to know if there's a gun in a school or place of business or wherever, fill in the spot. So I called these guys up. I called up our co-founders. I was like, hey, I got this idea. You guys want to do this? And they were like, fuck yeah, I'm in. And we all quit our jobs, and they moved into my basement and slept on hammocks for like almost a year, actually, in the basement on hammocks.
And you know why you guys
great.
did that? Because typically when we have somebody that invents something that was a SEAL, it's because they were an officer. You guys were able to live together because you're enlisted folks, and you're like, we can sacrifice a little bit here for the mission.
Yeah, there was no cake eating there. It was.
We used wag bags just for the hell of it, just cause.
We had a fridge full of Rip-Its. It was sick.
Oh yeah, there was.
We smoked down there. We didn't give a fuck.
That was basically what it was
Did
like.
nothing but dick jokes for 10 hours a day.
Yeah. Basically, that's exactly what it was like, and we just worked our asses off around the clock, like trying to figure out how to make it work. And like, it was funny when we first made we were like, all right, what's step 1? Like, get a box, then cut a hole in the box. No, it was it was like step 1. It was like, all right,
what did you guys do not in the basement?
Yeah, so we had to like, all right, let's get a computer vision model that works. And so we like set up a web scraping tool and scraped all these images of guns off the internet and fed it into a computer vision algorithm, built a model. We ran it over a YouTube video, and it was a clip from the Matrix movie. And it was detecting guns. Like, we're like, oh, dude, this is awesome. And we're like, all right, let's test it on a security camera. So we hooked up a security camera to the back of my house and started walking around in the backyard. And it worked.
The neighbors are like, what the fuck are
you
they
got a
doing
bunch of like
over there?
tatted guys
in
with
the basement
beards, and we were walking around with assault rifles,
yeah.
and I live in like the suburbs, and it was like, I was like, hey, it's okay, nothing's going on over here.
Yeah.
And then, but
it was detecting it, like right off the
it
bat?
was but it was detecting everything was a gun. It was like detecting my kids' lacrosse sticks in the
Okay.
backyard, like
My
the bicycle.
arms, no
yeah,
big
I was
everything.
like, wait,
Yeah.
because when you said that, I was like, wait, this invention stinks if you could do it in day 1.
No, yeah, it was so bad. And then we were like, wait, is this going to even work? And
Yeah.
we were like, yes, we're going to make this work, like no matter what. And then we just kept A/B testing our way through it, get small incremental improvements. We realized pretty quickly that like we had to create our own data and manage all of our data in-house. And so we went down to we collected all of our guns, and we drove down to Delaware, and we got access to an abandoned it was a water park, but it was closed for the season because it was winter, and we like camped out there with kettlebells and guns, and we strung up security cameras all over this place and walked around filming ourselves. And we started doing it in other locations, and then we would meticulously like break out the videos and the images. And
I'm assuming too, like you had to have studied a lot of what we have video of school shootings and stuff like that to get, because there's similarities amongst like a lot of them.
Lots of case
studies. So I'm assuming
studies.
you had to do a lot of case studies too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of information on a lot.
I bet that was
past
fucking
shootings.
tough mentally too.
Yeah.
Dude, you read some things that are just like brutal,
Which I'm sure is
especially with
motivating.
like, particularly when it's like kids are involved.
Right.
It's just like it's so.
Look at
much
Uvalde,
work.
a 4th grade classroom.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's very rough.
Sandy
And in that
Hook,
case, the
was-
shooter had his weapon out the whole time before they even got into the school.
All
Outside,
the time.
inside,
So did
in the
cops that
hallway.
were hanging out.
So when did it really start was it after that trip that the technology really started clicking? Like you guys really started finding a groove with it, or how many years like
It was a
to
bit
this
after
point?
Yeah, it was a while after.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we're still constantly improving it.
Right.
But that's never going to end. So I'm
Probably
trying to
2 solid years to have a good MVP, minimum viable product.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't. So, yeah, about 2 years till. I mean, within a year, we were able to, like, demonstrate it enough so we could get someone to agree to be, like, our beta customer, which is a high school in New Jersey.
Right.
Dr. Heilig at Rancocas Valley High School. He's the man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Heilig, if you're ever listening.
Huge ZBT guy.
Oh, yeah.
Totally, definitely.
He comments
Yeah.
all the
So
time.
Yeah. Big
they,
commenter. Yeah.
you know, we went into that. So we demoed the product, and like looking back on it, I was like, man, like compared to where we are now, compared to them, we're talking almost. We're like going into the 5th year. But we went to Rancocas Valley High School. We were there nights, weekends, holidays, whenever the kids weren't in school,
Yeah.
and the local police worked with us. And we just worked on like making sure like 3 things really. One was that we could ingest multiple security camera feeds at once and run an AI computer vision model over it.
Right.
Then 2, can we detect guns in different types of cameras, different types of settings, lighting, outdoor, indoor, all of that. And 3, oh, great, we're getting alerts. It's working. Where are the alerts going and who's looking
Yeah.
at them and
'Cause
what
I
like
feel
what's
like
that
that's
communication?
the key.
It's key.
Because like if it's if say it does alert on something that's not a gun, or is it like you need the most professional people to be able to tell that right away, because that could put other people in danger. And like I know you've thought of obviously all that, but like so now that's what's the next part is like who's on the other end of that camera system. What does that entail?
Yeah, I mean, is it going to somebody with no skin in the game? Someone
Right,
who,
yeah,
who,
yeah.
like is watching a used car lot camera, for example, or somebody who is extremely comfortable identifying guns,
Yes.
who's extremely comfortable in super stressful situations, military veterans, law enforcement.
Right.
So like the co-founder, the SEAL in charge of running ours, basically said, let's staff it with these people who are looking for jobs coming out of the military, want a high impact job, super comfortable when things go south, and are really good at identifying guns. We will remove the false positive burden from the client. We will eat that all, and we'll build an in-house monitoring center.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. It's one of like the core offerings we have right now.
And I was a dog handler by trade when I was in, and whenever we would go anywhere, be able to utilize the dogs, we had to maintain a certain proficiency level. So bomb dogs, for example, had to hit on 95% of what they went past. Do you guys have a proficiency model of what you are expected to do, or something that you guarantee to your clients?
Well, we're chasing 9s, like 99.99999.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the easiest way we break it down with clients and people without getting like crazy technical, deep in the weeds, is like if a human is sitting there looking at a security camera feed on a computer dashboard or flat screen TV, and they're looking at it and they're like, someone walks through with a gun, they're going to be like, yes, that is a gun.
Yep.
If a human can pick it out off of that security camera feed, our computer vision model will also pick it up and be like, yep, that's a gun. And that's like what we're chasing.
And my brain keeps going back to Uvalde and how he was like running across the. I mean, there was
parking lot.
so much
Yeah, he
time.
left
There
the
was so much time.
and
And almost always they already have the rifle out, like and you're right. So
Yeah, because these
big
people are
time
psycho.
saver.
Like, they're not trying to be all like super
Incognito,
secret.
yeah.
No,
Right.
they want people to see them. They're like stepping out like, I'm the monster. Like everyone's been
yeah, at least the
afraid of.
cases
Like
I
that's
can
what
think
they're.
of, it's
The
like,
goal is infamy. Yeah, it's not an
Right.
assassination. It's not I'm going to sneak a gun in and shoot one person.
Yeah.
It's I want images of me the whole way, walking to the Walmart like in El Paso,
Right.
walking in the store, shooting multiple people, and then going down in a blaze of
Yeah.
glory.
The fear
That's
is
the goal.
point. Yeah, the fear is the point in that regard. I was reading on your website too that you guys can kind of, I don't know if turn off is the right word, but when somebody has it holstered, like in an area where they are allowed to have it holstered, how does that work?
Yep, it's part of the way we train the algorithm. So
Yeah.
we're with the military. So obviously there's armed people on military bases. We're going to be with municipalities, and we didn't want to basically get alerts from people with holstered weapons, just to reduce the false positive load. And also, mass shooters don't walk around with holstered weapons.
Right.
They're either exposed or hidden somewhere.
And then you
Yeah.
think about like when a true event unfolds and you have more police coming onto the scene. Like, yeah, we're gonna get hits on them, but like you have to sit there. The less hits you have, like you don't want to
Right.
be picking up holstered weapons all the time. So we don't put in our data sets. There's millions of images that go into this algorithm. We just
Right.
don't put holstered weapons into it.
Okay. Has it? So it's been implemented now. Like, have you
Oh.
sold this? Like, where
Oh,
is
yeah.
it now? Who
We're
all's?
30 plus states, 3 countries at the moment.
Oh
Wow.
wow!
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have you had any examples yet that you've been able to point at and say, "Look, this works"?
So it was never like the yes and no. So
Yeah.
like we started this company, we set out because like we want to stop another Uvalde or
Right.
Parkland or Sandy
And the
Hook.
other 10,000
Yeah.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't found that nefarious actor yet.
Yeah.
But we detect like what we see a lot of is like high school kids bringing airsoft guns to a high school because they're going to go have an airsoft gun
Yep.
war.
And that's
It's
where,
like-
thank God, it's good to have people who know exactly right away.
right.
It's just an airsoft gun. Yeah.
Sometimes we'll see images of, for some reason, like the middle of the night, very randomly, like police, like 1 or 2 cops will go into like the local school and like
Yeah.
practice clearing,
Yeah.
not thinking anyone's there, and like we'll pick it up. But we don't dispatch that stuff to the, and like we email them or call them. We're like, hey,
But that's
this
also
is what's
good
going
for
on.
you guys. Like, that's
Right.
real world practice almost, you know, like
Yeah.
this. And you could be like, see, this did work. Like, we had
Yeah.
it in this, even though they were doing training, our system fucking worked.
And
Yeah.
we have picked up real guns. I mean, the Senior Assassination Day was a thing on TikTok. Literally
Oh
bring
my
a
God.
gun to school and pretend to assassinate somebody.
Yeah.
So we have
Gotta
images
ask,
of real
what state
guns.
was that? Where are we doing?
Multiple
states.
So
Senior
last year-
Assassination Day. Oh my God.
Last year in the
I've
spring,
never heard of that.
we
It's
kept
real.
getting a bunch of detections coming through in the monitoring center of like kids. They would have like the gel blaster guns or
Yeah.
whatever airsoft gun, and we're like, what the? But you like see them filming themselves while
Oh,
they're doing
God.
it, and you're like, what are they doing? And it turns out it was like a TikTok type challenge, but all the seniors would like divvy out names, and you got Matt Smith.
Yeah.
So now you have like a certain amount of time. You have to assassinate Matt Smith with like a paintball gun, gel
Okay.
blaster, airsoft gun, etc.
Right.
Water pistol, whatever. And
These teens, man, they're getting rowdy out
The
The
there.
problem
unreal.
with that is if you're a school resource officer who's armed and you see a kid behind another holding a pistol to his or her head,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
you might actually take action.
Right.
Like we're
I
trying to
mean-
prevent that as well.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
I mean, it'd be totally understandable if that happened. Like,
Yep.
you come across and somebody's point blank rage at somebody's head. Yeesh.
Yeah.
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 But so obviously, I'm assuming you're seeing more and more interest in this. Like the company's growing. What's next for you guys now that you're pretty established and you've got it in all these places?
so we started off just focused on schools,
Mm-hmm.
and then when COVID hit, schools went into basically a holding pattern. No one
Yeah.
was going. No kids were going
Yeah.
to school. But it was like this unfortunate perfect storm for ZeroEyes. Gun sales went through the roof throughout the United States. Like
Yeah.
literally, gun stores were like selling out. Then you have like defund the police movements and everything else, and police pulling back in a lot of major cities. Crime just going through the roof. Mass shootings and then just from like the mental challenges of going through COVID, and it was just like now you see mass shootings spiking, going
Right.
through the
Yeah.
roof, active shooters back. So a lot of commercial clients started reaching out to us during
Right.
COVID, and so we're like, they wanted to go on corporate campuses, property management groups for like
Yeah.
malls, etc. So we started to get in commercial, and then we started doing military bases, and so now we have it's been growing across all three of those like main verticals for us: government,
Yeah.
commercial, and education.
Man, well, I mean, I was saying it's crazy that there's like a cottage industry now in the U.S. around mass shootings, which is nuts. Like, and
It's-
part of it is like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
But I
The
do
company-
think it's a needed thing, and like, it's crazy to say that it's like a needed thing. And I mean, is there any like competitors coming up now? Like, I feel like that's such a
Peop-
great idea to be able to.
Competition has come up. One, it's like there's so many security cameras in the United States. There's over 100 million of them.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't crossed swords with competition, like
Okay.
sales deals. But like we keep an eye on it, keep
Yeah.
our ear to the ground, like what's going on in the market. But when we think more of competition and ZeroEyes, like with sales and stuff, it's most schools and companies and stuff, they only have so much budget, particularly when it comes to like
Right.
security measures.
Yeah.
So now they got to think about upgrading their security cameras, putting in metal detectors or bulletproof glass or getting radios, like whatever it is. We
Right.
have to, that's like our competition. Like we're competing with other things within our security budget, not like head-on competition
Yeah.
of like here's another computer vision company run by veterans that's trying to stop
Right.
active shooters.
We also don't. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You guys also lower the barrier of entry, too, by having the camera systems that the schools have already invested a shit ton of money
Yeah.
in, where you're able to go on top of that and not instead of. It's not and or, it's and.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't even look at it often as competition.
Right.
If you're in the mission to stop school shootings, we're not
Right.
competing with you.
Right.
So we just look at it left of bang, left of gunshot, and right of gunshot. And there's a lot of good solutions right of gunshot, and then there's a lot of good solutions left of it. We focus on the left of bang. We want to tell you there's a gun there before that gun is ever fired.
Yeah.
And that, like Uvalde was the prime example of that happening. And the majority of shootings, the gun is exposed for several minutes prior to ever being fired.
Yep.
And like that's a perfect situation, right? Like we detect some knucklehead, some psycho that's sitting there with his assault rifle or pistol, whatever gun he decides to use, and we detect them before he's even pulling the trigger, and we could get police there, and boom, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Like awesome, that's a huge win. But then there's like the other, they might already be shooting, but we're still providing that intelligence, those images, so they know what the person looks like and where they're located at, so you can really still focus on decreasing the response time. So now they could go stop the threat, but now they could get people in there to stop the bleed faster.
Yep.
And that's like super important too.
Yeah, first
Absolutely.
responders, stop the killing, stop the dying.
Yep.
Stop the killing, and then you have to go back and the victims, stop them from bleeding out. Every second literally matters in that situation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the first thing that I thought of when I read what was going on. It's that right now with school shooting, everything is basically emergent care from like a medical perspective, and you guys are doing preventative care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And too, like, I think just on a different note, I feel like people don't often think of, like, from who we've had on the show, like Navy SEALs getting out and going to business school. And especially, like, not shitting on enlisted as we are enlisted, but, like, it's awesome to meet enlisted people who are going to business school and creating companies. And I know there's tons and tons of you out there. But it's just really awesome I feel like that's kind of
While
rarity
also
for what
not
we see.
trying to write a leadership book.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah,
riff all
yeah.
day long on the differences between enlisted and officer. Like I said
Yeah.
before, like the enlisted, as enlisted, you have to be creative in your
Mm-hmm.
execution of a mission. I think that's why we worked. We didn't take a PhD top-down approach to how would I build a gun detection algorithm.
Yeah.
We did it like
Grounds
knuckle
up.
draggers. So I don't know if I can curse here. We did it like knuckle draggers, test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found the 99 million things that didn't work, and then one thing that did work,
And I
then
think
we got it.
you're less afraid. I think as enlisted, you're less afraid of failure sometimes
Yeah.
because at
Oh,
the top
yeah.
that can ruin things, and at the bottom it's like, well, a bunch of us are gonna get fucked for this, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's more of a willingness, and I think to do what you guys have done, like you said, you had to fail a ton before you. When the first time you tried it, it was like picking up bicycles, like you said, but you didn't give up. You kept going with it, and it's really impressive. Very cool.
So do you guys have plans? A lot of startups, whenever they get going, they have this one main mission, and then it kind of deviates into other areas. Like I was thinking here with what you guys have, if you also could put in a deadbolt system where the shooter's there, as soon as we see it, we lock those doors down. You can't get out.
So there's a lot of access control companies already out there that are doing stuff like,
Yeah.
you know, different ways to close doors and provide access. We just do integrations with them.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our clients, like going back, they already paid for the security cameras. They already paid for the access control. We're like the new shiny toy that they could
Yeah.
plug in. It's like, oh, we're shifting the timeline to the left now.
Yeah.
We're having the possibility to do so. So we're just keeping a company hyper focused on like being best in class at detecting guns through security cameras.
Yeah.
And there's, like I mentioned earlier, there's over 100 million commercial security cameras in the United States alone. That's not getting in like residential and everyone's iPhones
Right.
and all that other stuff. Just like the fixed point security cameras. There's plenty of room for us to grow just right there. And that's what we're focused on. We have other stuff that we look on for, like, okay, we're on security cameras, running the AI gun detection model. Great, there's an alert. What's our mapping interface look like? What's the mobile app look like for our users? And so we have a lot to unpack there and work
Yeah.
on. And then, okay, what's next in that evolution of things? And so, like, with the military, we've been working with, like, drone response or like the robotic dog response, or using the cameras on those drones or dogs to also detect guns.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you could go with it, but for now we're trying to still stay very,
Very
narrowly
focused on-
focused, inch
yeah.
wide, 5 miles deep, best in class.
There you go.
There you go. Well, if you want to check out what they're doing, go to ZeroEyes. Just search it in there. You can check out some of their videos. I watched some of your videos on YouTube. Fascinating
Yeah.
how it works. My brain will never understand how it works or
Yeah.
really computers at all.
Yeah.
But go check it out. It'll blow your fucking mind. And if you're a principal or something like that, check this out. I mean, it's the cost was, I was shocked because I thought, I was like, this is going to be like 75 grand or some shit like that. Very affordable if you're one of those people. So check it out. It's going to save somebody's life.
Yeah.
Thanks,
you.
gents.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for having us on.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our good friends at Simplisafe. Home should be where you and your family feel the safest, especially over the holiday season. You don't want any type of wet bandits or anything like that in your house without you knowing it. This season, give yourself and your family the gift of peace and protection with the #1 rated home security system, Simplisafe. And right now, Simplisafe is offering 40% off a new security system. Usually we have ads that are like 10, 20, 40% off is a lot, because in an emergency you want 24/7 professional monitoring agents that use fast Protect TM technology exclusively from Simplisafe to capture critical evidence and verify that the threat is real, so you get priority police response. Simplisafe is a home security system with advanced systems for every single room, window, or door. Smarter ways to detect motion that alert you only when the threat is real. 24/7 professional monitoring service costs just $1 a day. Actually, it's under $1 a day. Less than half the price of ADT's traditional professional installed system. With the top-rated Simplisafe app, stay in control of your system anytime, anywhere, arm or disarm, unlock for a guest, access your camera, or adjust your system or setting. I do it every time I leave. I'm in New York City right now, which you can probably see in our lovely new studio. I'm in New York now, but I like to take care of my family and make sure that they're safe. So anytime I could pop on the camera in my backyard, above my shed, out in the front yard, I know where everything is because I have Simplisafe cameras ready to go. So I know if something's going on with my family when I'm away. Don't miss your chance to do that same thing and get some massive savings on my favorite security system. Get 40% off any new system at simplisafe.com/ZBT. That's simplisafe.com/ZBT. There's no safe like Simplisafe.
Interesting too. I talked to them afterwards. I think they started in 2018. Sorry guys if I got that totally wrong, but they have over 120 employees now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying the people who should be identifying the guns should be the guys who are in my mentions whenever I get the name of one wrong.
Oh yeah, hire
actually
them.
that's a P24 Smith and Wesson.
And
Someone's gonna be like, that's not a real gun.
It gives a lot of the military people
Yeah.
who don't speak in military speak anymore and call guns guns. It's gonna give them, because that's what the Navy SEALs do. They're
Right,
calling
that's
them
what
guns
they did.
and
So
not
now we can call it
weapons.
guns.
Oh,
Not.
wow.
I got a lot of actually it's rifles. Blah blah blah.
Actually, it's a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just a
Actually,
joke
it's
about me skeet
actually
shooting.
a magazine, not a clip.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks to those guys for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Hey, Prime listeners, have you heard? Zero Blog 30 is now ad-free on Amazon Music. With the Amazon Music app, you get access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts, and it's now included with your normal Prime membership. You got to get a Prime membership, though. If you don't have, I mean, you basically have to be living in, like, the super woods of deep Maine, where you don't even get like cell phone signals or even fresh groceries, anything like that, in order to not have Prime at this point. To listen, visit amazon.com/ZBT. Avoid the ads and listen to your favorite Barstool show on the go, offline, and wherever life takes you. And as a bonus thing, because it's Amazon Music and I use Amazon Music, I love it. You can start by listening ad-free by visiting amazon.com/ZBT. That's amazon.com/ZBT. But another added bonus, it is the only streaming service in the world that has Garth Brooks catalog. If you're like me, a huge Garth Brooks fan and a huge ZBT fan, go to Amazon Music. Get it right now. Amazon Music, amazon.com/ZBT. Let's move on to some save rounds and alibis. The big elephant in the room is the Army-Navy game that we all went to. First, I'll talk a little bit about the experience going down. We had a great time. We were there with the college football show, hanging out with Dan and Dave. It's amazing how much people love those guys. Just amazing.
And I want to say, you got in trouble a couple years back. You two had a bet.
Oh,
Cons lost the bet, and you were supposed to sing the Navy song. You didn't. You've been shit on ever since.
Yes.
I would say you completely, then you went ahead and redeemed yourself, my friend.
Absolutely not. That is ridiculous.
He drank
credit.
a high noon.
What? I drank a high noon out of her
He-
sneaker.
and
Gives a fuck.
No.
That's an early Tuesday.
No,
at the
time out.
barracks.
Time out.
That replaces that bet?
No,
You don't
Cons
get to
had
say
that Lance Corporal in him when he did it. Because you were hungover. I could see the vein
I
in
don't
his
care.
neck
That
hitting
does
the
not
sun.
make up.
It was pounding. He had chicken in his mouth still from the wing. It was a wing eating
Yeah,
contest.
can we pause right there? Because I don't know. I was replaying it back in my head. Chaps was kind of taking his sweet time. And when I looked down at the plates, seemed as though Chaps only had maybe like 1.5 wings eaten, and I had like 5 or 6. So I'm wondering to myself in the shower last night, did those two chat beforehand? Because also Dave made a comment like, wow, Chaps looks like he's really flying there. I'm wondering, did those two chat beforehand and say, we know Cons is going to take this seriously and try to eat these wings really fast. Wouldn't it be funny if you just took your sweet time and barely ate any, and I said you still won?
That's
Buddy.
a great point, Cons, but I think that's because you don't have the same type of tactical experience that I do. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. You're
Right.
trying to rush through everything, making mistakes.
It's more about
not me.
proficiency.
But I didn't make any mistakes. I ate more wings
Long
than
story
you
short,
did.
I won the competition.
He
You clearly did
chugged.
not.
Chugged that high noon out of my shoe that I wore all around the city of Philadelphia the night before, and you better believe there's some duty out there, folks.
So Cons is one. I'll give him that he's 500.
I was
on bets.
impressed.
It does not make up for it. He's
I
1
thought it
for
made
2.
up for it. I thought.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The flyover was awesome. We got to stop doing the parachute drop-ins. It's too. My heart can't take it anymore.
Kate was very
It's
nervous
so
when we were standing
stressful.
there. She was like, "The ones that are sticking together, are they okay? Was that an accident?"
Oh yeah, the two parachutists like
Yes,
clung
yes,
together,
yes.
and I was like, this is it. We're about to witness. Do they play the game after these two guys die?
But that's
or
a good
ladies.
point about military stuff, because people talk to military people and they think that you're going to have experience in every single aspect. We don't know shit about jumping from planes. We don't know
We
any of that about
certainly,
stuff.
and even people who are airborne qualified, they don't really know what it's like to be on a parachute, like a demonstration team.
Right.
They're just jumping out of a plane and hoping that canopy
Yeah.
opens versus these men and women are jumping out of the plane, deploying their own parachutes, doing all sorts of maneuvers. So
It was windy
there's
out.
very
I,
few people who have that
hated
experience.
it. Good
Yeah.
for you guys.
There's a
Can't take
big,
it.
big difference in people who are flying those types of planes that put pesticides over a cornfield in Iowa and the Blue Angels.
Yes.
It's the same
That's-
concept.
that is
Yeah.
a
but
great
it's,
way to
it's
relate
not
it
the
back.
same thing.
Yes.
So Cons, the floor is yours.
Wow. So let's start with Friday night. I mean, how great is it? We were in Philadelphia in 2019
Mm-hmm.
for the Army-Navy game, and now we have our own bar in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Let me
Ton
shout
Tavern.
out Barstool.
Not ZBT. the
No,
Barstool.
no,
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
not ZBT. We're not quite there
Barstool
yet.
Sansom Street. Yeah.
Barstool Sansom Street. Let me just say, what an exquisite job they do being hospitable, taking care of everybody. They could not have been nicer to me, my friends, you guys, everybody that showed up. Just an unreal experience. Anything we needed, they took care of us. So that was great to have that as kind of like a home base on Friday night to rally at, which was very cool, I thought.
And we had David from the Dream Foundation.
Yes.
He's an Army veteran, and an older Army veteran who he had trouble. He was like, could they make me some soft fry? Everything that we requested, they were like, we're right on it. We got stuff for everybody.
Yes.
Like
He had the
they
most
just-
outrageous drink order I've ever heard.
What was
So
it?
he was awesome. He was a super nice guy,
Yeah.
but he came up to me. I was like, "Hey, if you want anything from the bar, just let me know." And he goes, "Can I have a Kahlua sombrero?"
I
And
don't know
I was,
what that is.
I was like, "What?"
We got to
And
figure
he
it
was
out.
like, "It's a Kahlua sombrero." I was like, "What is that? What is it?" And
Yeah.
so I told the bartender, I was like, "He wants a Kahlua sombrero." He's like, "I've never heard of that. I've been bartending
We're
for
gonna
like
have
15
to make
years.
that
What
up.
is that?"
It's got WhistlePig in it for
And
sure.
he said that it was Kahlua and tequila.
That's
which
an interesting
sounds-
combo.
David
that-
has that dog in him too.
Yeah, he does. That
Yeah.
sounds like something that would make me puke. It sounds like one of those Irish car bombs that will like curdle
Yeah.
on the top.
Yeah,
That's
uh-huh.
exactly what
Cement
that smells
mixer.
like. Let's get into
But
the
you're
game.
right.
The
Yes.
actual
Yeah.
game. We don't need a whole recap of everything we
But
saw.
Cons was out till about 2:40 in the
Yeah,
morning,
he
as
was-
evidence.
time
His
went
wife
on,
was
yeah.
texting chaps.
Maybe. Oh,
Okay.
was I?
No, your wife was
Oh.
the next morning.
Oh, okay. Anyway, didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get warm. That's gonna be
She
another
was
conversation.
none
when I
too
get
happy.
home again. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's get into the game aspect.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
College Football Show was great. Thank you to the College Football Show for having us be a part of that. The game, I will say, that the first half was largely frustrating to watch. Both teams
Yeah.
couldn't do much offensively. Defensively, it was a
Cowardly
good game.
coaching by Navy. That's probably why he got fired. We talked about it sitting in the stands. You cannot punt from inside your own 40 twice in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that typically for that program is a 4-down territory type call.
4th and 4 from the 38.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a good call on old coaching the amounts of
Football
Lowell's party.
You get fired for a reason.
crushes
Yeah,
my
that's
soul.
true.
I don't
But no,
care
then, you know,
about it at all.
We blocked the punt going into halftime. I thought that gave us some momentum. Second half, again, trading jabs. And then I got to just, there's so many players I could obviously call out. But credit to Moretsky, our kicker. He missed a big kick against Troy that would have won the game for us early in this year. He comes back against Navy, makes the field goal to tie it. And then we go to overtime, and everybody decides,
I
like,
think
all
he
right.
probably could have dealt with it if you left that Troy part out.
Yeah, maybe.
Boy, did he fuck up earlier
No,
in the
he didn't.
year.
No,
You're right. You're right.
But,
It was a good old redemption
then we
story.
get overtime. First overtime in Army-Navy history, which was
That's
interesting.
wild.
Well, so here's the context. When do you think college football introduced overtime?
Off the top of my head, I would say 1964.
No, 1996.
What?
Exactly. So
Oh,
prior
yeah,
to-
now you say it, I do remember that. And people are
Right.
like, oh, what are we going to do?
Exactly. Prior to that, there were 7 ties.
Just like that.
So there were close games in Army-Navy. It's just there was never ever any
Oh, there was
overtime.
ties?
Yes, there's been 7 ties.
I bet that made you guys want to, like, end it all.
Yeah, that just stinks. The last one coming in 1981. So overtime, and then first play, Army scores on a touchdown. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. Our defense has been playing great all day. We're going to win. Next play, Navy scores. I'm like, uh-oh, I don't know what's going to happen. Navy's next possession. You can't write this stuff in a movie. We force a fumble on the 1-yard line.
Yep.
And not even, like, the 1-inch line.
Yes, I mean,
and
he
I
was
felt
like,
so bad for that kid.
I did too.
Ugh.
I did too. I
I did.
never like to see.
Chaps loved it.
Yeah. Pain is
never-
weakness, leaving the body.
Okay.
I never like to see collegiate players in Aggie
Yeah.
like that because, despite what's going on in college football right now, they're out there trying their
Yeah.
best. They're not getting paid. They're not professional athletes.
Yeah.
So,
But a crazy last second fumble right
yeah,
at the edge.
he
Yeah.
fumbles right there. Then we get the ball, and then all we need is a field goal. We make the field goal, and then we get the win. And here we are. It was a great fought game on both sides. And then, obviously, yesterday, Sunday, Navy decided after 25 years of service to the school, 15 as the head coach, I think it's 15, regardless, they fired their head coach.
You got to. I don't think it matters how long he's been there. When you're not meeting the program standard, you got to go, man.
Are the
Like, you can't
coaches
just have a
military?
coach emeritus.
No,
well,
they're not. Okay.
So that's not entirely true. There are some coaches on Army, Navy, Air Force's staff who are military
yeah.
because they're graduates, former players that have come back. But no, the head coaches are not in the military. Not since I think freaking Red Blake was at Army back
Oh,
in
yeah. Red Blake.
40s and 50s.
You're
Oh,
familiar.
Yeah,
long
you know,
time, Stoolie.
he
Red
knows
Blake.
Red
Well, I've been there
Um,
for we've been going for. We kept looking at each other going,
2016
this
we
never
went
gets
as a
old.
show
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah.
I think this is like year 7 or year 6, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never gets old. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was happy for you when they won
Thank
because
you.
I don't think we just wanted everyone to have a nice time. But
I want to tell you, even though the wing competition made you upset and drinking the shoey, I had a plan that would have ruined your life. And Dave Portnoy said no.
Wow, what was it?
I had set it up where we were going to give you the opportunity to sing the Navy song again. If not, I wanted Dave to take off the Army coat and have Roger Staubach's jersey underneath, and him to tell you that he's no longer an Army guy, that he's a Navy guy. How much would your soul left your body?
It would have hurt.
It would have hurt.
It
And
is
I
nice that
told
Dave's
him,
an Army guy.
I told him I want a camera zoomed in on Khan's face,
Yeah.
like so we
He wanted you to
see
hurt.
every wrinkle of upset.
I mean, credit to you. I will say
That's a
would've
good
been-
idea,
that was
right?
A great idea.
Thank
Just
you.
an absolute great
That's
idea.
why I said it here. I needed credit for the idea.
But
even though it didn't
Credit
come
to
into
Dave.
fruition.
Dave values loyalty. So
He
he
does.
said, "I'm an Army guy."
Nice.
He's always
Sometimes
going to be
to
an
a
Army
fault.
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a great weekend. Obviously, it's a special weekend for me. You know, no matter how many times the game is played, I was on the field singing the alma mater, and I feel myself getting choked up and emotional. I had zero influence on how the game played out.
Oh, you
Still-
cheered your ass off. You were there. You were
No, I
cheering
got
hard.
cheered.
Yeah,
I
they
cheered.
heard
Don't
you.
count
They
yourself
heard you
short.
right before the end of the game.
Yeah.
That's true.
But you're right. Like the whole pageantry of it, I felt like myself getting choked up at just because the two schools coming together, they're singing the national anthem, and then looking around the crowd. Because typically at a sporting event, even if they're singing the national anthem, people are looking around, they're grabbing their beer,
Right.
they're doing whatever, they're telling their kid to sit down. Every single person in the stands is standing completely still while they do it, and then they start singing along the national anthem.
Yeah.
Every year that part gives me chills because
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of Americana on both sides of anything, or just totality of America, like being like, this is greatness, this is America. And that's what it was before the game. And I think that's why it's a reminder of how good America can be.
So our colleague Carl from Chicago came with his father, and that is the exact thing he said. After the game, we were chatting, and he goes, I want to look at anybody who thinks this country is a bad place to come to this game, and you can see that there's still so much great about this country.
Yeah, because we often talk about the things that we need to improve, and there is a shit ton of
flyovers, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll back on board again, I guess. All right, I guess. No, but
somebody passed me a Bud Light line.
Shout out. We were busy that day. I wanted to get over to the Team Foster tent so bad, and I was just running all over the place. I missed that. Shout out Team Foster. Check them out on Instagram.
That goes fast though. It sneaks up on you. We'll get
G.I.
there at like
John's.
9 o'clock, and the next thing you know, it's 2.
The porta potty military guys started porta potty company.
Yeah.
You meet so many interesting people at the Army Navy game. That's my favorite part, is just talking to all the other veterans and hearing what they're up to and what they're doing and people we've interacted with. So if that was you, thank you. Great seeing you.
All right, let's shift on. Kate, you had a Christmas story you want to talk about?
It's just kind of silly. So Toys for Tots, you still see it all over the place. Were you ever voluntold to do Toys for Tots? Put on your dress blues, hang out in a Walmart?
Yeah, and not in a Walmart, but hanging out front the AFES, like the commissary.
Yeah.
No one gave a shit.
Nobody puts the toys.
Wait, time out. What did you have to do? Just like, hey, can you go inside and buy a toy, and when you come out, give it to me?
Yeah, you stand there in dress blues.
Okay.
And you're next to this box that says Toys for Tots, and there's usually a couple of you.
Ding, ding, ding.
So I just never knew the history of it. So it began in 1947. This Marine Corps Reserve Major, Bill Hendricks, his wife Diane had made a couple dolls. She handcrafted dolls and was like, you're a Marine, figure out who to get these to. He told her there's no organization, I don't know how. So she said, start one. She knife-handed his ass. She was like, fucking start one,
bitch.
So he and the Marines in his reserve unit in Los Angeles collected and distributed 5,000 toys that year in 1947. Wow. Tell a Marine to do something.
That's a lot for your first year.
Yep. So it was so successful that the commandant got wind of it, and he started. This is where all the other reserve sites were probably like, thanks a lot, Bill. The commandant found out, and he was like, now all Marine reserve sites have to do this. So commandant loved it and was like, this is a nationwide thing now in 1948. And that's the Marine, moving so quick. 1 year later, he's like, you all do it now.
Yep.
And we're like, Roger.
Bill Hendricks, his civilian job, so he was a Marine Reserve. He was the director of PR at Warner Brothers Studios for his day job, which is at the time, late 40s, 50s. That was the heyday of Warner Brothers Studios. So he knew all these celebrities. He created the Marine Toys for Tots program. And as a personal favor to Bill, Walt Disney himself designed the very first poster.
Wow.
So Walt Disney himself drew up the very first one, which I think they still use. Miniature 3-car train with the toys in it. Yeah, that's the logo that you see was. I didn't know that was designed by Disney.
That's incredible. Yeah.
That's very cool.
I feel like every few years some kind of crazy story comes out because shoppers be crazy.
Yeah. And women be shopping.
And women be shopping and women be crazy.
They do.
Said
their
respectfully.
Period starting.
But I feel like every few years a story comes out. Yeah.
Just a whole bloody scene.
Speaking of, this new blue velvet chair is okay when I get up.
Red, white, and blue soon, my friend.
Anyway, you're Marines at the front of these stores, so you probably see all kinds of crazy shit. And I feel like every few years a news story comes out of a Marine stopped a shoplifter, a Marine punched someone in the face because they were drunk. At the Toys for Tots.
Wait, drunk while they're doing Toys for Tots?
I'm just saying, that a problem? Buddy, I know it. I know it in my bones. If I know the Marines.
See, that's the Toys for Tots might be a reason to withhold marijuana from troops. Because you'd be taking some.
They're like Jay and Silent Bob. Noise.
But all those jobs that you would do, like buffing the decks, how much more fun would that be on a gummy?
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. But it reminded me, this one particular story, I remember seeing as Toys for Tots Marine Corps urban legend back when I was probably right after. No, I was in. And I looked it up, and it turns out it's on Snopes. And I found out it wasn't exactly the story that I thought it was. Do you guys remember this one? So this comes to us from Jerry DeMarco, Hackensack News, 2011. Keeping it current.
Yeah.
That's in New Jersey.
Yeah,
right?
Hackensack, New Jersey.
This year's biggest holiday myth might well be the tale of the fleeing Best Buy shoplifter who nearly had every bone broken when he slipped and fell off a curb after stabbing a Marine. Do you remember this now?
Yeah, I do.
What makes this urban legend so enticing is that there is plenty of truth to it, according to Snopes.com. The actual incident occurred on November 26, Black Friday, after security at a Best Buy in Augusta, Georgia, saw a thief cut a Dell laptop from its packaging and stuff it down the front of his pants. The suspect, 39-year-old Tracy Attaway, great name for a shoplifter,
Atta girl.
was confronted, let go of the laptop, and ran out the front door, pulling a knife and barreling over an employee.
What do you have?
A knife! Oh, no! Go get him! Outside the stores...
Ow!
This is all happening. Who's out front? 4 Marines in their dress blues at the Toys for Tots box.
Their wish of motherfucker would moment.
One of them, Corporal Philip Duggan, clotheslined Attaway and brought him to the ground. The assailant quickly regained his feet, swung his knife, stabbing Duggan, and was quickly tackled by several other Marines. Duggan got all of 3 stitches, along with TV interviews and widespread online coverage. For the Marines' PR, that's the best possible thing that could fucking happen, a captured clotheslining. Attaway, we're adding that to the McMap lineup now. Attaway, a convicted felon with 30 arrests, got life in prison just last month. True. So this guy really, truly was incredibly dangerous. An AP account of the incident began circulating, only it contained an additional paragraph. The suspect was transported to the local hospital with 2 broken arms, a broken leg, possible broken ribs, assorted lacerations and bruises he obtained when he fell trying to run after stabbing the Marine. According to Snopes, pure invention.
Ah, damn.
So, and somebody added, "Don't mess with the Marines," like they wanted it to be a don't. Attaway didn't have a single
They should
scratch
let
on
those
him.
Marines, wherever that Supermax is, and just do it.
Yeah, Attaway didn't have a single scratch on him, but that clip, that newspaper clipping is what I heard, went viral. And I remember us all being like, holy fuck, these Marines destroyed that fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's
And
like
now
going to
Just
be,
let it be true at
he's
that
going to
point.
be in a wheelchair for
Yeah, don't
life
correct
after
me.
We
that.
don't
No,
need
that's
to
bullshit.
dive
I
any
know.
deeper and find
Let
out
it-
if
let
that's
it be.
true or
Oh
not.
my God, am I being a Grinch right now? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, hey, maybe just forget everything Kate just
We
said.
don't need to fact check everything.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
Well, that's
I
the
don't, and
truth
I'm not,
behind that
I'm not
story.
blaming you. I'm blaming Snopes for doing that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Also,
Well, thanks
another
lots, Snopes.
bone fun fact. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
How many bones are in the human body?
300, I was going to say 365, but that's a
ridiculous.
year.
Isn't it like 220?
206. I'm surprised you guys didn't know that. But the babies have 305
Yeah, they have
bones.
more. Yeah.
Yeah,
did
and
know
then they
that.
start connecting and linking.
Yeah.
I can still see my son's heartbeat in the top of his head, which freaks me out.
That's neat.
Really?
Yep.
You still got a soft spot?
Still, should I go get that checked
I
out?
think I got a little one too.
Yeah, your hat's always.
Yeah, it's
Thumping
always in my
around up
soft
there.
spot. I don't really have anything, Nicholas.
I just want to say that earlier today, someone tried to get in here. The ZBT crew was actually in a meeting during that, or that would never
Let's
have
get
happened.
that on
Yeah,
record
speaking
right now.
of, if we had been in our blues with a Toys for Tots box in the front of the office,
That guy would have walked
That
the
guy
room with
would've-
some broken
broken
bones.
arms.
But also, too, the idea of just hearing random screams in the Barstool office, not that uncommon.
I thought
But
it was
we all
Stu
ran
Feiner.
out
Yes,
while it
we
was
did
going
all
on.
run out.
And we saw it on the stairs, and we saw that the situation was under. So we let the NCOs take care of it.
Yes,
Right.
we let the NCOs take care
Right,
of it. But
exactly.
yeah, somebody did break in here, so you never know when you're going to have to go Marine Corps reservist at a Toys for Tots box on somebody's ass. Is the
true.
important thing to note
It's
there.
true.
True,
Yeah.
true. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you back here on Friday. It's on the retreat.